The trio of Odin now stood in Metheus's way to overtake the rule of the garden. Metheus spread word that Odin was trying to keep all off the Saltarn, besides those that were of Asgard, the children of the angels. He persuaded a lot to believe him, not only the mortals on the garden, yet also some of the projectors. This battle would go down in history as the annihilation of the garden. Metheus then announced he was to be known as High King of Heldendris, that any that entered his kingdom would not be permitted to once again leave it. For if they did, Odin would strike and take their lives, and this placed fear in a lot of them. The first Metheus persuaded was the Mystic Seven. He did this by having his kings or his sons to perform false actions that would show to the mystics that Metheus's words were true. So it was that 4 of the 7 united with Metheus. Those 4 were Nicodemus, Gargal, Mir, and Rape. As for Uina, Phoenixia, and Dragona, they saw the truth in Metheus's actions. However, before they could inform Odin as to what truly was proceeding, the 3 were captured by Metheus and the other 4. They were placed in a holding under the Black Castle, the home of Metheus. Then, unknown to the remaining 4, Metheus took their lives. This would not be found out by the others for many years to pass. Now so it was, the mystics were lost, and with them the land of Heldendris. Metheus took claim of all areas that his faction was living on. This included Heldendris, which was his rule to start with, Tartarus, Armageddon, Babylonia, Slavic, Alchemy, Aztec, Xandus. Even 2 of the areas of the Saltarn, which were Kakanan and Xandu. Odin, seeing what was going on, chose to let things go as they would. He did not want to battle and tear the garden apart. Nor did he know that the mystics were lost to him, as Metheus formed a rouge around the garden to conceal what he truly trying to accomplish. Also, only Metheus knew. He did not permit any to know of his plan, not even his sons. Odin just went along with whatever Metheus wanted, in hope this would pacify him. Therefore, the garden was now governed by King Metheus Xandu of Heldendris, with his queen Lilith, and King Odin Lorden of Asgard, and his queen Galea. The next thing Metheus did was to try and persuade the Magnificent Seven to assist him, as he knew he would not be able to turn the fantastic jewel to his faction, so that he did not even attempt. However, he had the mystic. Now, if he could get the Magnificent, for with the help of the 2 teams, he would use them to eliminate the fantastic jewel. During this time of peace, if you could call it peace, the sons of Metheus were meeting the Magnificent Seven. They were not only meeting them, they were falling in love with them. The 9 kings or sons of Metheus was Asmodeus, Alaric and his twin Alcard, Levian, Hades, Azazel, Aztec, Avernus, and Quetzal. They were also able to shift change into wolves, and they were known as the 9 kings and the 9 wolves of Heldindris. Asmodeus had built a relationship with Pandora, Alaric with Jackal, Azazel with Storm, Quetzal with Chandra, and Leviathan with magic. This was also planned and encouraged by Metheus. However, the sons had no idea of their father's betrayal to not only Odin, yet also to them. Queen Gallia transferred into the garden a son. The queen gave name to him as Adam, Eden, Lorden. He would be heir to the garden. As Metheus heard the report of the son, he also made possible for a child. Queen Lilith transferred a daughter, in which Metheus gave name of Eva. He raised his daughter to know the son of Odin, and in time his plan was to have his daughter seduce Adam. As Adam matured, he became the keeper of the garden. Metheus sent Eva to Adam, expecting Eva to persuade Adam to be with her and to follow her father's words. Metheus's plan almost worked. However, when Odin noticed his son was following as Metheus's daughter wished, this did not please him. He then made a decree that the women of the garden, or women of the garden, would follow as the men of the garden wished. He also removed Adam from his position. Then, seeing that Adam and Eva wanted to remain together, yet fearing for their well-being, Odin would need to separate Eva from Metheus. Then Metheus could no longer use his daughter against Odin. Odin placed them on the world. They were to help those on the world. Adam and Eva went to the world and followed the orders given by Odin. Odin also said that Metheus, because of his betrayal, would have no more daughters or sons, that he did not pull from the mass, which meaning he would not have any natural children. This greatly angered Metheus. Therefore, Metheus said going forward that Odin would only have 21 daughters, and he would see that all 21 would be destroyed, as he could not make the same word as Odin did. Odin in return tried to abolish the curse, finding out he could not, just as Metheus could not his. Odin had 3 wives, and each of his 3 wives, over time, transferred 7 daughters each, making it 21. The protectors, priests, and kings of the light came together and decided that the 21 daughters of Odin would receive abilities of the garden once they reached their 21st year of life. That Magnificent would train them to use the abilities, and they would assist in the protection of the light of the garden by connecting with them and staying connected to protect them. The first transfer of Odin he named Trestia. A white ore was placed about her, and like Estastar, she would have all the abilities of the Magnificent Seven. The second was Jim. Her ability was of healing and obedience, as one would have to do her bidding, if she so choose. The third was Pandora, also would be given abilities much like Teresta, and she would connect with Pandora. The fourth, that was, he named Majestica. She would be able to think of what she wanted, and with a hand gesture it would come to so. And she was directly connected with magic. The fifth was Ultra. She shall be able to use the sound waves of the air to stun with loud sounds of high and low tones. The sixth was named Magna. She would have the ability to bring anything to her, or make anything stick to a surface, or together with just a wave of her hand and a thought. The seventh was named Chondria. She would have one of the abilities that Metheus had. In order for her to get what she wanted, she would have to speak aloud, in a gesture formed from words and cast with her hands. She also was connected with one of the protectors, Chondra. The eighth was Wanderer, or Wanderia. She used items such as ropes and chains. She could manipulate any item of her choice. She could also change her body to have an illusion of any mystic animal. The ninth was Aqua. She was of the water. She could swim and speak with the sea animals, and for a short time she would not need to breathe. She used the waters to help her fight and move about. She could call the waters to her aid in any form she chose. The 10th was named Jackalia. She had the ability to speak to the animals, also morph into which animal she chose. Like Jackal, she also could control them and have them do as she wished, and she connected directly with Jackal. The 11th was Trickstria. Her ability was mischief or mischievous, as she would fool you to get her way in any way she could. Her ability was the same as Tricksteria, or Trickster, which was Loki's twin sister. The 12th was Lightning, or Lightia. She controlled the weight of all things to what she would want, in defying gravity when she wished it. The 13th was Electria. She could control the effects of what lightning had, also use those effects for her own gain. Electric energy ran through her body, and she was with Electra. The 4th was Icea, and she would control the elements of ice and be connected with ice. The 5th was Silveria. She had the ability to turn solid into liquid, or liquid into solid, as just a thought and a wave of her hand. The 16th was Stormaria, and she would be connected with Storm. She could control the winds and the waters and what is known as weather, just as the protector storm could do. The 17th was Thunderia. She could make the garden shake and noise so loud it caused both human and animals to lose hearing and be frozen in place for a length of time. The 18th was Earthia. She could control the land and the dirt, calling it to her and her sister's aid. The 19th was Faria. She controlled the element of fire, and she connected with fire. The 20th, Valeria. She was given the abilities of conjuring up fires and lightning and wind, making it impossible to get to her and her sisters. The 21st and last of Odin's daughters was Aria. She could freeze an area of land or human or even animals, placing them in a paralyzed state for as long as she wished it. As Odin's daughters reached their 21st year of life, they would receive their abilities in full that had been chosen for them. All the daughters would be able to tell truth from false, words spoken, and be able to speak with one another without a word spoken. Also, they all would be able to move faster than light itself. His daughters then to the factions of the Tri, having 3 teams of 7, the Magnificent, the Jewel, and the Mystic. They worked with their father to keep peace among all the people of the garden. For a century, all seemed to go well within the garden. However, Metheus still wanted to rule over the entire garden. And now with the protectors, the daughters stood in his way. There would have to be something done about them.